I'm Eva de Klerk and I'm very happy to be in Copenhagen. I've been invited by the Danish Architecture Center and by the government, the city of Copenhagen, and I'm having a very good time here. The NDSM project is it's an old shipbuilding wharf in the Amsterdam North. It's a project I started 10 years ago, and the roots lie in the sort of squatting movement. It's located along the main river in Amsterdam, and 10 to 20 years ago all these old harbor buildings were squatted. It was not a nice area, no-go areas. So a lot of artists and youth people moved in and started their own business. But in the 90s, due to gentrification, city plans to have a Manhattan or a Wall Street development along the river, all these buildings with all these great initiatives were evicted or vacated, and so we sat down we set up a sort of think tank on how could you have artists or end users or ordinary people participate in city developments. Yeah, that in the squatted buildings, a lot of people had done experience on how to renovate the building, how to invest with your own money into these buildings. So these buildings got a new use and became very famous, attracted a lot of other businesses. And this method of participating in city development on a cooperative base, this was a method we launched as an alternative planning strategy, which is called in Dutch the stad als casco. We should translate maybe the city of a framework, or the city as a framework, or the city of standing walls, the basic structure. You have this in old buildings, but you could build new basic structures. And the end users invest with their ideas, but also with their money in the reuse of these buildings. And they can buy these buildings or they can rent these buildings. There are several forms of how to organize these things. And this is with this idea I started 10 years ago to redevelop the NDSM wharf in the north of Amsterdam. Well, the district authority in the north of Amsterdam, is one of the most deprived, or used to be one of the most deprived areas of Amsterdam. It was in the north, a lot of industry, a lot of poor people, a lot of unemployment. It was not it's one of the worst areas. And the district authority sort of launched a competition for temporary use of the NDSM wharf in the north of Amsterdam. And this is how I entered the competition, first aiming to squat it, but then I thought, hey, why should we do it illegal? It's a good course, so we should legalize the good course. And it's also a big demand for affordable working space. Amsterdam was pricing itself out of the market, focusing on consuming art, on museum, but not on producing art, on the creative climate, or the base, or the grassroots, or that no attention at all, and it was becoming far too expensive. So all the artists and great groups left, went to Rotterdam, went to Berlin, to Croatia, and Amsterdam was losing it. And this was why the district authority sort of said, well, we could harvest this temporary use for the artists there, but that obviously was not really our objective. Our objective was to actually invest in the area ourselves. It was a ruin. There was a big lack of maintenance, so we came up with a plan to finance the renovation, invest with our own money to build a city in a warehouse. So the district authority obviously had another objective than we had. But in the beginning we misused each other, I think, in that way. They wanted to have a temporary use with starting creative artists or entrepreneurs, obviously to attract investors in the future. And this we knew this, and this already exists for 100 of years, I think. If there's no need for it in a city, why bother? Why bother if there's no need, no demand from the people themselves to have creative space? I've now been here in Copenhagen. Yesterday I saw the meat district, and the government wants it to be a creative space, and they're asking a rent. I'm like, no way you're going to have anybody doing business here. Not even a commercial party would be interested here. So, and is there a demand for it? Where's the group of people standing up and claiming their right on the city? And so also now I've been asked in many other countries to do the same there. I'm like, well, I don't make the concept, the people make the concepts. I facilitate the people, or I don't even do anything, I just light the match and show that what I've done in the north of Amsterdam, that everybody could do it from the people. We are a bottom-up initiative, and we fought for it, and this is why I think, because we're so passionate about it, why it became successful. Other parts which have been strategically planned in cities are not as successful and not as attractive as self-initiatives. And the danger in the self-initiatives lie then that they become too protecting themselves or too conservative. So open up and yeah. I like the Carlsberg story, that the person that owns this area is really into the art, and I see a lot of opportunities. The thing is that what I stand for is would the government, or would a private investor or an owner, landowner, would he be willing to give land away, to sell his land to a group of people that are going to do it themselves, like the meat district area. It's owned by the government. I think it would be wonderful to give little plots of buildings away to different groups and let them invest in the heating and in the system, and just, you know, ask for a low rent, and have these groups invest themselves in the renovation of their building or the facilities of their buildings. And I see lots. There's a really attractive area. It's a very inspiring area, along with the old businesses still working, still operational there. So I see a lot of challenges, but it's in the mindset, or in the how the government thinks, and what the vision is, and their courage to let go and just let something happen, or experiment with this, create these white zones in the city where you experiment with other forms of city planning, and you create interesting investment climates for people to cooperate and co-invest in the area, so they feel that it's theirs, that they own it, and that they take care for it. But also it's their business, so, and they have to get a market for it, so they will do everything to attract people to buy their products. So this is what I feel would be a good climate, which a government or a landowner or a developer could facilitate, and not with a money profit, but with a profit of dynamics in the city and creativity.